Hello, my name's Tom Cahill. The date is the 24th of November 2013. I'm making this video as part of my series on ALPonz. That's the Aston Lloyd Ponzi Scheme. I should have made this video a little bit earlier, but I've only just got around to it. Well, I don't know if you know too much about this, so I won't go into the entire background. I have done other videos. If you look at my YouTube channel, you'll find other ones about various different aspects. But the purpose of this one is just to get this thing up there on the internet, because a lot of people won't have it. I can send it to you. So if you send me a message on YouTube, you can get hold of me, or get me on Skype on TZOMCAHILL. That's Tom Cahill with a 0 instead of an O. You'll find me on Skype. Send me a little message on that, and I'll fire it across to you. It's no problem. So here was I attended the Winding Up Petition. Now, the Winding Up Petition was held in the Rolls Building, which is part of the Royal Courts of Justice. It's quite an interesting thing. It's not like a courtroom I've ever been. I've never even seen one on telly. What it is you're in this room and you've got all these barristers sat down. There's no space really for anyone else to sit down in these two columns. And in the middle, you can sort of walk up the middle, and then you've got like what's called a registrar. I believe she's a judge, but she's called a registrar in that particular capacity. Like you get masters, they are actually judges, aren't they? But they're called masters, so they're sitting masters, even though they're basically doing a sort of judge yet secretarial judge function sort of thing. Anyway, I attended this Winding Up Petition. I believe one other person, well, I know that one other person did attend. None of the other cunts could be bothered turning up to it. You would not believe it. The pretend de facto insolvency practitioners didn't attend. They said, I don't know, they made some bullshit, ridiculous excuse. And what they did is they sent this letter. They sent a letter, but it didn't arrive. And they said, oh, the letter. So they communicated to the court that they'd send a letter, but it hadn't arrived. How the fuck does that work? That's like, you officially communicate that the letter hasn't got there. Absolute bollocks. You know, you should be able to see that one coming a mile away. Of course, it's just another fucking coincidence, I suppose. Right, the petition number was 1490, and then it's of 2013, and it's dated, it's got a stamp, and it's very hard to see, but it's like 29 April 13. Right, so I'm just going to read it from the top. So that's petition 1490 of 2013. In the High Court of Justice, Chancery Division, Companies Court. Registrar Derrett, D-E-R-R-E-T-T. In the matter of Aston Lloyd Partners International Limited, and in the matter of the Insolvency Act 1986. Upon the petition of Chamberlain's Consultancy Limited, creditors of the above-named company presented to this court on the 28th of February 2013, and upon hearing, counsel for the petitioner and no one appearing on behalf of the said company, and representations being made by Thomas Christopher Cahill, that's me, being a person with equitable interest in the said company. That's not what the insolvency practitioners would have you believe, by the way, so I don't really know, but anyway, I'll continue. And upon reading the evidence, and the court being satisfied on the evidence that the EC regulation insolvency proceedings applies, and that these proceedings are main proceedings as defined in Article 3 of the regulation, it is ordered that Aston Lloyd Partners International Limited, registration number 059-851-04, would be wound up by this court under the provisions of the Insolvency Act 1986, and it is ordered that the court of the petitioner of the petition be paid out of the assets of the company. Now, he's not going to get any money because there is no money. That's the whole point. Yeah, it's all part of the fraud that this wind up petition. This is one of their in-house like little mates doing this. Dated 22nd of April 2013. So maybe at the top that's actually a 23, let me think. Maybe it's actually dated 23rd, 29. No, so it's 29. I was thinking I said it was 13. It's a bit weird. Anyway, one of the official receivers attached to the court is by virtue of this order liquidator of the company. Yeah, I don't really understand what that means. 2, Mundays LLP, Cedar House, 78 Portsmouth Road, Cobham, Surrey. That's KT11 1 Alpha November. And that's it. I'll explain. Mundays' involvement they were the ones who were contacted by the guy who's got a funny Indian sounding name. So it's like the Colville model. He's got an Indian sounding name, then he's got a company that sounds very like English, like Chamberlain's. And this company sort of had some IT business which didn't really do anything. It's just a sort of shell company, quite clearly. Then they've taken Mundays on. There's a guy called Oliver Jackson, a very, 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 very fucking shifty character, I can tell you that now. If you just look at a picture of the guy, you know, you would not trust him as far as you could throw him. Looks incredibly dishonest. I gave him the benefit of the doubt to start off with, just for a bit of fun, but, you know, he's complete. I would not trust the guy. He's obviously up to dodgy business. You can tell he just looks as dodgy. He's very, very dodgy. And, you know, like most solicitors are dodgy, aren't they? This guy's incredibly dodgy, even on their scale. And became very, very defensive, almost hysterical when I just asked him a couple of questions. So that's how you know he's got, you know, he's to be regarded with the utmost suspicion. And I tried to talk to his boss, and the boss's response was, don't ever contact the company again. So, you know, do not be trusting anything that you hear out of that firm. So that's Mundays LLP, they're a law firm, and they took on the barrister who turned up at the petition. This is all, what they do is it's got plausible deniability. You get somebody to go and do something, and then you get them to do something on someone's behalf, them to do something on someone else's behalf, and then most people are too imbecilic to realise that that could be all part of the construct of the fraud. They think if lots of people are involved, it's conspiracy, and a conspiracy is a conspiracy theory, and there's no such thing, so that they're mental if they think that there could be something funny going on. So that's what's happened here. But I and another person who just, we didn't really make it obvious we knew each other. We turned up. We thought other people would turn up. You know, I mean, there's a lot of people live in London. A lot of people were ripped off by the fraud. You'd think they'd show a bit of interest. Couldn't bother their asses. Nobody else showed up. And I spoke to just explain that it was being used as a money laundering vehicle. And a lot of that was taken down on the court record because it's a weird setup in that Rolls building. I said I knew nothing about these before. I've never been to one before. You basically have people standing up and sort of going, oh yeah, my company, can I have like an extra month just to settle my accounts or something? I don't want it wound up. Or you get lots of it's just literally done by these barristers. You've got these barristers, they've got multiple briefs. So you've got them in there. They've been paid to go and sort of represent, say, 5 companies, and they wait around for like 4 or 5 hours, and they just sort of say, yeah, we're going to wind this firm up. They go, yeah, any objections? No problem. And it's like, it's wound up, no problem, effective, whatever date. It can be very, very fast, or it can take a bit longer. But most of them, it's really, really fast. And there's other people that'll be a bit of conversation for about 5 minutes. In the case of this one, it's probably 6 or 7 minutes. It wasn't very long. The point is, it's very dry, very boring. Quite a lot of amusement was caused. Well, not amusement. They weren't laughing at me, deriding me. I'll take that. Well, that would be a very wrong impression. There was nothing like that. But the whole point is, I made it very clear that the court was being used as a money laundering and fraud conduit, which obviously we know it is, because that's what the whole point of winding it up quite clearly is. So that's all been taken down the court record. Now, as a result of this, Paul Kirk, who's the managing fluffer at the City of London Police, he, as a result of this, I believe, he told somebody, so I don't know whether he has done this or not, because, you know, he's in the police, so I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him. He said that he went down to Nimish's house, where he was keeping, this is not the house that Nimish Patel lives in, this is the house he was using somewhere in, I forget what the place is called, it's northwest London, and Uxbridge, I think somewhere around there, and he went to pick up all the documents, and they've been held now as a evidence of a crime, as opposed to going into the black hole, which is the official receivers, because you can't get stuff out of there. And people think the official receivers is a regulator. They just receive stuff. That's all they do. They're not going to regulate. You can't phone them up and complain. They're as liable to you as a tree is if you nail a little piece of paper saying you've lost your cat. The tree is not liable for finding your cat. That's how the official receiver works. They're not going to give you any help with anything. They're not there to give you help with anything. A lot of people think they are. If you phone them up and ask them, are they meant to be giving you help? They're not meant to be. They'll be the first to tell you it. It's not. There's nothing dishonest about it. That's just the way they work. Anyway, thanks for listening. As I said, if you want to find my other videos, write ALPonz, how I've written it on the label of this video, or put in T0M Carhill, and you'll get all my other YouTube videos will pop up, or you can just go onto my channel and find them. As I said, if you want to get in touch with me, you can get me on T0M Charlie Alpha Hotel Indigo Lima Lima, Tom Carhill. no space, 0 instead of an O in Tom, right? You can get hold of me and I'll send you any of the documents that you might want or anything like that. It's no trouble at all. As I said, please do put any questions or anything, and I'm quite happy to be shot down because I know I'm in the right. I know what I'm an expert in this case. I know I know what all the little snidey criminals are up to. I am an expert on it, so be well aware. You can shoot any questions at me you want, and I'm quite happy that you wouldn't necessarily be convinced to start off with about one or two things, but I can easily show you how everything links together. It's not very complicated. All right, thanks very much. I look forward to your comments. Thanks very much for watching.